Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Welcome to the Grow Tent, everybody. You have found the best cannabis growing channel on YouTube, man. The place where we simplify the approach for you so everyone can learn how to grow. We make it so simple, even I can understand. So I'm going to listen and learn right now.
Woo! What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Grow Tent. Hope everybody's had a fantastic weekend. It's been a good one over here. We've been packing orders. I went out racing yesterday, which you guys all know I like racing. I got a racing channel. You can look in the comment or in the video description below and find it if you want. Don't have to, no worries. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, watch the full video. All this kind of stuff helps. First of all, guys, I say we, but it's just me. I got close to 700 orders packed last week, so I got 1,000 to go. I'm hoping we got a nice full week coming up, so I'm hoping to have, if I can average like 175 orders a day, I should be able to get all the orders and all the new t-shirts out from the drop over 4th of July weekend for the Blueberry Spacewalk drop out this weekend. The Blueberry Spacewalk merch collection came out really cool. The colors look insane. They pop. I was pretty ecstatic with it. But we got a pretty cool video today. Now that all that nonsense is over, we got a pretty cool video today. So today we're going to be talking about, does longer veg times equal bigger yields and bigger cola sizes? The question was more specific, does longer veg times get bigger colas? But I thought we would do with bigger yields and bigger colas because they kind of go hand in hand. So to the first point, does longer veg time equal bigger yields? And the answer to that would be a resounding yes. It seems pretty straightforward. There's a couple caveats to it, but obviously it's yes. The bigger the plant gets, the bigger the yield would be. Does it equal bigger cola size though? No. I mean, to an extent, like if you have outdoor plants that are like 18 foot tall and you got monster branches, then yes. But this is an indoor show and we're talking about in a tent. Whenever you're doing this, you're going to be limited by your tent size. So your tent size is going to be your limiting factor. But longer veg times, bigger plants, bigger yields, up to the size your tent will accommodate. You know what I mean? So you can't be like, oh, I'm going to veg this plant for 6 months and just fill the whole tent up. Well, then you start running the other problems with light. But on normal grows, if let's say you're vegging on an average of 4 weeks at the end of flower, let's say you did your 4 weeks of veg, because half your tent at 4 weeks of veg would be correct, because when they double in size through the stretch, then you got full tent. But let's say when you're done flowering, you've only filled up half your tent, and that was on a 4-week veg. You're like, well, that means you would have only been at 25% before when you flipped into flower. So in a case like that, where you're only filling up half your tent, or you got these big pockets in between your plants, like you have plants everywhere, but then you also have these big areas in between your plants where you can still see the floor. If you would have vegged that longer, spread the plant out more through your training, stuff like super cropping, topping. If you don't know what that kind of stuff is, go watch some of my older videos. I go through it pretty in depth with plants, with dry erase boards, with connects, Legos, whatever those things were. I go through it and kind of show you how to do all that kind of stuff to make your plant wider quicker, because the faster you can widen the plant out, the faster you can cover the ground, which means that you don't have to veg as long. But if you're not filling up your tent, instead of going to flower, like, it's been 4 weeks, immediately go into flower. That's not the way this works. That time frame for veg is very dependent on what you're seeing in your garden. So if you would have vegged it out longer, your yields will increase. And if you only filled up half the tent before, and then you fill up all the tent the next time because you veg for 6 weeks instead of 4, so it only cost you an extra 2 weeks, but you doubled your yield because of it. You see what I'm saying? So it's worth the extra time that you would spend in veg, because the two parameters of the grow that don't ever change, you got seedling for 4 weeks, then you got flower for at least 8 weeks. So you've already got 12 weeks built into your grow. So what would it matter if you went 4 weeks in veg or 6 weeks? That extra 2 weeks is such a minimal amount whenever you went from getting, let's say, I don't know, 8 ounces to 16 ounces. So you went from half a pound to a pound, and for an extra 2 weeks. Do you see what I'm saying? Like the difference there. People get so excited to get out of veg. I get it. Flour's the coolest part of this. I like training. I like the plants in veg though too, because I'm good at training. So I like seeing me apply something to the plant and then the plant respond because of it. So, but when you look overall at the bigger picture, an extra 2 weeks on something that is like, 15-ish weeks of your time before you cut it down, and then you have to chop it and all that kind of stuff. When you look at it that way, it's a drop in the bucket. Where as far as time, especially with the reward you can get by vegging the plant a little bit longer. As far as bigger cola size in a grow tent, not really. The extra veg, your colas are going to be where they're at. As long as you keep all your nodal spacing is good, your cola size is going to be relatively the same. Whether you veg for 4 weeks or you vegged for 8 weeks in a tent. Now, if you're in a big open room and you got really tall ceilings and a good amount of lighting, you can actually get some pretty decent cola size because you've expanded past the grow tent style. When we're in a grow tent style, we're in a very limited space for height and square footage. So you have to base it on your room size, what you can accommodate. It's kind of like that thing where a shark will only, or fish will only get as big as the environment that they are in. It's kind of the same thing, but these plants will keep growing past that. You just can't let it, because what happens is the plant gets so big, you'll start losing yield because you let the plant get too big for the space, and then you're like, well, the bigger the plant, the bigger the yield, right? That's what GT said. Well, I kind of said that. I said that for like outdoor stuff. When you're in a tent, you have to get them to the correct size for that environment. And then, Bella, what was that? What was that noise? You all right? Silly dog. She was like, wow. Sounded like Chewbacca. So, I hope that cleared some things up for some people because they were having a hard time understanding why, if they just like, well, I'll just veg the plant for like 10 weeks inside and get a huge yield. It doesn't work quite like that, but as long as you're filling out your tank correctly, yes. If you're not filling out your tank correctly and you veg longer, 100% bigger yields. And then whatever cola size you allow it to get because of your training and watering methods, that all comes on based on what you're doing, not how long you vegged. What, Bella? She is like sitting that way and then looking. If anybody doesn't know who Bella is, she's actually on the shirt. You can see her. That's Ricky GT holding Bella in the shirt. Yeah, you're on the shirt. You're on the shirt. You're okay. So, I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of the week. And I'll see you guys on the next video.